Saturday Social is powered by EA Sports FIFA 23 with PlayStation.
It does bring us on. It does bring us on perfectly because we're going to do a true or false Premier League special now. So the rules are very simple with this. We've got a list of statements that Joe and I are going to read out. If you think the statement is true, hold up the true side of the paddle that we've given you. If you think the statement is false, hold up the false side of the paddle, and then we'll get some spicy debates on each of the topics. So first up, true or false, Gabriel Jesus' injury will cost Arsenal the title this season. Now, a bit of context, he's undergone successful surgery on a knee injury suffered in the World Cup. There isn't an exact time frame Arsenal have given, but we believe it could be about 9 games, possibly returning at the end of February. So, true or false, what are you saying? Oh,
I love the disagreement already. Let's go.
Mark, you got me true. Why true?
I don't think they're going to win the league anyway. I think Arsenal have been fantastic, absolutely fantastic. But my prediction has always been Man City. And I think with Jesus, really difficult to... Man United are trying to do it. It's really difficult to replace somebody in January. So I think that without Jesus, and the volume of games are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many games. I think it's going to impact a lot of people. And Man City, as we saw in that Liverpool game the other night, have got so much depth. So I think it will have an impact, yeah.
Theo, you disagree?
Well, we all saw how Nketiah stepped up last season, didn't he? He can do it. We're looking at João Felix. I don't think it's the be all and end all.
He'd be a good signing.
And if it is until February time, that's still such a lot of games still to play. I think people are still underestimating Arsenal. Like, we're 5 points clear at the top of the table. Yes, we've lost a very valuable player, but I don't think it's the end.
Do you think Arsenal will win the league then this season?
Look, stranger things have happened. Leicester City won the league. If Liverpool were 5 points clear, you'd say Liverpool are going to win the league. They were 13 points clear and they lost the league, didn't they, against City? But Arsenal will win this Premier League.
Arsenal will win this, and you disagree? You think City for you?
Look, I probably would prefer, this sounds weird, but I probably would prefer Arsenal to win it because I always worry about Man City and trebles, and I think they look very, very good. But no, I think Man City will win the league.
All right.
Brings us perfectly.
It does. We are talking about Manchester City for our second one, but it's not about the Premier League. It's Manchester City will win the Champions League this season. True or false? A pair of falses, despite the fact you're worried about them winning trebles. Probably the best team in Europe right now.
I think they're good enough to win the Champions League, but there's that mental block, and we were talking before, weren't we, about PSG. I still think Bayern Munich are very good. I think even the English clubs in the Champions League can cause Manchester City a problem. I think there's a mental block there, so hopefully that will continue.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's 3 clubs: there's Bayern, Real Madrid, and actually I want to throw PSG into the mix. Yeah. I feel like Messi winning the World Cup could just somehow make PSG win their Champions League.
Is this not what Haaland's been bought for, though? Haaland to get over the mental block and scoring the big moments?
They've got the curse on them, haven't they?
based on the fact that they've gone out to some unbelievable teams over the past few seasons.
There is this Man City curse that I think actually they'll never win the Champions League.
You don't think Man City will ever win the Champions League?
Well, how are they going to break a curse?
What do you mean? Because they've bought maybe the best striker on the planet.
If they're going to win it, this is the season. If they're going to win it, this is the season they'll do it. But there's teams like Real Madrid and Bayern Munich who have this like Champions League DNA within them that just...
They've got to do it soon. Kevin De Bruyne was so bad in that World Cup, but then you see him back with Man City and before, and what a player. And he's got so much chemistry with Haaland. I think they've got to try and do it in the next couple of years, otherwise...
Who wins it then for you? You've both mentioned some names.
I'm going to go Bayern.
You think Bayern Munich?
Yeah, I want to agree, but then... You know what? It's either Real Madrid or PSG.
Okay.
Real Madrid or PSG.
Interesting, neither of you said Liverpool or anything there.
Yeah, interesting. OK, next up. Now, this is going to be a spicy one because it affects both of the teams that our guests support. It is true or false, Mikel Arteta is a better manager than Erik ten Hag. Two highly rated managers we know. We've got an Arsenal and a Man United fan in the building. True and a false respectively. We thought this. Let's go to Theo first. You've gone true. Go on, explain.
He's a lot less inexperienced. No. A lot less experienced than Ten Hag. And I think what Arteta has done over the last 3 years with Arsenal being in, quite a bad way, he wasn't afraid to let players go. He wasn't afraid to trust the youth. I think as a coach and a manager, he now... You know how Wenger ran the club, Ferguson ran the club, Arteta runs Arsenal.
All aspects of the club.
Yeah, and I feel like Ten Hag is actually looking at Arsenal and sort of copying them. I think United are like using the Arsenal approach, and that's the route they're going to go down. So I think if you look at it that way, like Arteta is what Ten Hag is striving to be.
No. I mean, look, I'm a big fan of Arteta, and actually, Arsenal fans were printing Arteta out T-shirts, and I was saying he's a good coach. So I totally respect Arteta, but you're forgetting Ten Hag, the Ajax manager, who basically built his club like Arsenal are building it, who's been to a Champions League final. So for me, it's not your fault, Theo. A lot of pundits have done this. They forget what Eric Ten Hag did before Manchester United, and that's why he's a better manager for me. But I like Arteta.
That's what Arteta did at Man City.
As an assistant.
Yeah.
Not going to agree on this.
Champions League semi-finalist, 3 or 4 years ago, Ajax. So, yeah, I think
they did also
they're both very good coaches.
Yeah,
but
they had an abundance of youthful talent.
Who do you think is more likely to win the league first?
Arteta.
Well, they've got a chance this year, so yeah, you've got to go with that. Yeah, Man United are probably going to be 2 or 3 years.
I feel like United are where Arsenal were 3 years
I'd
ago.
agree with that,
You're in that transition period.
Yeah.
Okay.
Disagreement, but quite an amicable.
Yeah, absolutely. The next one I think could be even spicier. Then it again involves Manchester United and Arsenal. It's true or false. Marcus Rashford will score more Premier League goals than Bukayo Saka this season.
We know what they've got already.
Yeah, they've both got 4 Premier League goals.
All right.
But
Really?
Rashford has 4 more than him in all comps.
So Rashford will score more. True. Ooh.
I have a reasoning behind it.
Go on.
I love an informed Marcus Rashford that's full of confidence. I think he's so good. Look what he did for England as well. Oh, wow. But Saka, especially with the lack of Jesus, could step up to be our goal scorer. And is Rashford on pens? Saka's on pens.
Bruno normally, I think.
Saka's on pens. So I think overall he has a higher chance of getting more goals.
I just think Rashford at the moment is just so influential for Manchester United, and as long as he's playing off the width, I can see him scoring, 1 every 2, which is going to put him around 20 goals. So I think if he can stay fit, fitness is going to be key with the World Cup as well. But I think Saka, again, look, I've got to respect Saka. I think he's fantastic, but Rashford's more of a goal scorer.
What's his best position for United, do you think? Because he has now played all across that front line, hasn't he? We saw him on the right at midweek. We've seen him through the middle without the lack of striker and off the left. Where do you think he's at his best?
I think Ten Hag does want to move him through the middle, but I think most Manchester United fans would say off the left.
Yeah.
Marcus Rashford's better running at somebody than he is with his back to goal. And as a striker, that's what Martial's for. I think Rashford, like that goal the other night, is just so good when he gets at the full-back and whips a shot in like that or puts a cross in.
Yeah, I mean, Bukayo Saka as well. I think we should just talk about him briefly. Is there many better right wingers in the world?
He's still
at the
so
moment?
young as well. What is he, like 22?
Yeah, I think 21 maybe.
21?
Yeah.
Like, even better. Like, both of them going forward, if they stay this confident, and especially Marcus Rashford, like you look at like 2024, the Euros, it fills us with so much confidence, doesn't it?
Yeah, 21 years old, Bukayo Saka. That's a very comparable.
That's insane.
Actually. Goals in all comps, Rashford 9, Saka has got 5, but goals and assists in the Premier League, Rashford's got 6, 4 goals, 2 assists. Saka's got 10, 4 goals, 6 assists, Saka as well. You've spoken glowing terms about both of them. Whose ceiling do you think's higher then? Because as you said, both had good World Cups as well, didn't they?
Rashford is 25 now.
Yeah, yes. I think Saka's ceiling is higher.
Because of his age, and you think he'd get better and better.
Yeah, but then saying that, if you look at Rashford 5, when he burst on the scene, you think, wow, look at that. But I think Saka is he also shows like a level of maturity at 21 is insane. Like, I think he can go on to huge things.
His mentality after the Euros penalty miss, compared to Sancho and Rashford, they sort of had a bad year, and he took it on. I think he has got a higher ceiling because of the age, but also I just think his mentality is so strong. Whereas Rashford's had a few injuries, probably been overplayed a little bit. So
I feel like he's also like at Arsenal now. Saka's become the man, so to speak. You've obviously got Xhaka, who's a huge voice in the change room, but Saka, I feel like he's leading by example, and for such a young age, is amazing.
So did Southgate get it right playing Saka, not Rashford, in that knockout game against France?
I think where Southgate got it wrong was with 11 minutes to go, bringing Raheem Sterling on. I think I would play Saka off the right and Rashford off the left. That's what I would
play
do.
them both.
Yeah.
I'd agree. Play Foden in the 10, Bellingham with Rice.
I think we might have been playing a World Cup final against Argentina if we'd done that, to be honest.
Oh, the pain. He's bringing it back. I thought he'd forgotten about it. I'm still heartbroken about
He didn't say we would have won it. I would say that, because Argentina were pretty good.
Yeah, Argentina were pretty good.
Very good.
Anyway, moving on to the next one. True or false? This one involves Spurs. True or false? Antonio Conte should sign a new contract at Spurs. Spurs 4th in the league at the minute, going quite well under Conte, of course, in contract discussions, as we know. But should he sign a new contract at Spurs? What are you saying? This all flip-flopping. True and a false. Okay, you're going true. Theo, why?
I think Spurs are so boring and like a waste of a club, but Conte is...
Those are the thoughts of Theo.
That's a reason enough, isn't it? Yeah.
But
What are you on about?
If you're a Spurs fan, you're so lucky to have Conte because he's so much bigger than your club. He's so much better than Tottenham Hotspur. He is. No, but the thing is, though, it's actually true. Like, Conte deserves better than Spurs.
Great club, great manager, great fit, no?
Great stadium, great manager. But Conte doesn't deserve Spurs, but Spurs need Conte. Does that make sense? So, like, without Conte...
Do you think he's a great... You're singing his praises as a manager?
He's such a good manager. They are a bit boring, don't get me wrong.
Do you think he's maybe a better manager than Tottenham?
Yeah.
Should be able to get at the moment.
He doesn't deserve to be at Tottenham. Do you really... honest to God, do you really think Conte, if he had the choice to go to, like...
We did have the choice. And he
well,
chose
Real Madrid come asking. You think Conte's going to stay at Tottenham?
But do you not think that could be applied to a lot of managers if Real Madrid come calling?
I just feel like it's Spurs, though, isn't it? It's Spursy. It's just like...
What was that?
He's not going to... He's up against it. No matter how good as a manager he is, Spurs are notoriously the biggest bottle jobs in the UK.
You can take that.
So what can you do?
I think Theo's just trying to wind me up.
No, but I mean, serious. What can you do? Like, you can get to the final, but you're not going to win the final. Do you know what I mean?
I feel like Theo's just trying to get him ahead a little bit with his Arsenal hat on. But you have said true, which is interesting.
Yeah, they need him. They need him, yeah.
You've gone false.
Yeah.
So why have you gone false?
I speak to a lot of Spurs fans when I'm like doing other shows and stuff
Nice
like
people,
that.
aren't they?
And yeah, but I don't think he's a good fit. I like Conte, but I don't think it's a good fit. I think the brand of football is not Spurs. And I know you don't win many trophies, and that's not a dig, but you do actually have a reputation of playing good football.
Yes.
And under Conte this year, it's been dreadful. So I think, actually, the experiment's over for me.
Do you think it has been dreadful?
Yeah, I think I find Spurs
With the
last
table.
season, you know, that front three of Kulusevski and Son and Kane,
Yeah.
amazing. This year, for some reason, the handbrake's gone off. Now, maybe it's pacing yourself and you're going to hit the second half of the season well, but I think if it continues like the first start of the season, I would look for a change for everybody in the summer.
Where do you think Spurs under Conte will finish this season?
I don't think you're going to get top four.
You don't think so?
No. You can grind it, but I don't think you will.
Theo?
Yeah, there's no way they get top four.
No way Spurs get top
Absolutely no way.
Wow.
Smithy,
They're in the box seat, though.
Yeah,
they're in
they're
the
in
now.
it. Smithy, absolutely furious with that topic.
I feel like they got a bit personal, that one.
Yeah, I think what we should do as well is have a look at the top of the table, because we can have a look
Yes.
at where Tottenham are. We can also have a look at our next topic, which is Liverpool, because they are currently in 6th. Now, they are 7 points off of Spurs. They do have a game in hand, and interestingly, they've got a really good goal difference for a team in 7th.
Yeah.
In 6th, sorry, which is obviously helped by the 9-0 victory over Bournemouth, quite substantially, but nevertheless, you know, They lost against Manchester City midweek, but it was by no means a total humiliation. 3-2, was it? So true or false, Liverpool won't finish in the top 4.
Ooh. Another disagreement.
Another disagreement. So, Mark, you think they're going to get in the top 4?
100%, yeah. I think that they'll have a good second half of the season. They're a quality side, and going out of the Carabao Cup's a good thing. You know, that costs you 3 games in January, I think, if you get to the semis. So I think Klopp probably was looking at that. I think they are still probably second, third best team in England, and I think I can't imagine they're going to have a second half to the season that they had first half of the season. And I still think they've got the intimidation factor and they know how to do it. So the only issue with them is what they're going to do in January and injuries. But if they can avoid that...
Is out for an extended period now?
Josh is still out, isn't he, as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Theo, you think they're going to miss out?
I think they'll miss out, but only just. I feel like their midfield could... well, as you say about January, I feel like their midfield would be the one that lets them down. I feel like Darwin Núñez, he got a lot of stick at the start of the season, but he is...
Yeah, he's a good player.
He is a good
What are
player.
your thoughts on Darwin Núñez? Because you're right, he is clearly a quality player, but I feel like a lot of fans are very vocal on their opinion of him.
I think
on
he's just
social media.
very raw. Like, he just can't, like...
Haven't
he's
seen the best of him yet, you
Yeah,
don't
he's
think?
doing everything right, but he just can't finish to save his life. Like, he'll get in the box and it's almost like he panics a little bit. Like, his feet stop working.
So a chance magnet, though, isn't he? You can't buy that.
Yeah.
Chances come to him, and I would never mind. Well, going back to my managerial stuff now, I won't mind a striker who keeps getting chances.
Yeah, I
because
agree.
you can work on that. It's the ones like Ronaldo at the end this season just wasn't getting the chances. So I think Núñez is a good player.
So that's what you say to him with your managerial hat on. If you're sitting,
keep
with
getting
him now.
yourself in the right positions, it will come.
So if you've got Liverpool in the top 4 and you've got them out, who is the actual top 4 then for you? Who's going to actually finish in that top 4 spot?
I feel like it'll go Arsenal, City, Newcastle, Man United, Liverpool.
Oof, Mark?
I'm not actually putting United in there because I think that expectation's probably a bit... I'd said at the start of the season we're probably about 5th. So I would go Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool And the 4th place is great. I mean, it could be Spurs, it could be United, it could be Chelsea, it could be Newcastle.
Brighton.
But I will commit and say Newcastle have got the points on the board, they're not in Europe, and they've got money to spend. And I think this season's so competitive, it's hard to... you can't just say you're going to make the points up because it's so competitive. So I'd probably put Newcastle at the moment.
Well, perfect again from our guest. Our next topic is about Newcastle. It's like you know the questions that are coming. Our next topic is Newcastle will finish above Chelsea this season. True or false? Bit of context. Newcastle are currently 3rd, Chelsea at 8th. They're 9 points above. Newcastle are 9 points above Chelsea, but Chelsea have a game in hand. And of course, the last game was Newcastle 1, Chelsea 0. You've gone true. You've both gone true. Wow.
I worry about. Go on, Theo.
Yeah, I think Newcastle are actually the real deal now. I think with Eddie Howe, they're making the right signings.
What a job he's doing.
He's got to be like ahead of their projections, like so far ahead. They're actually so good. Like their defensive quality. They've got Kieran Trippier, who's been sensational since returning to the Premier League. Like, and they could bolster their squad in January. They're not just throwing money at whoever. They're making good, logical signings, and they're getting results. I think they are Champions League.
On Chelsea as well, I worry about Chelsea. I really like Potter and I want him to do well, but we can't say it's the most competitive Premier League and everyone can beat anyone and then say that Chelsea are going to make a 9-point gap on Newcastle. Newcastle have got to implode, and Chelsea, who've got Champions League football, and what are they going to do in January? I think Chelsea will be all right next season, but I worry about them this year a bit. I think they might struggle.
You say worry about them. Where are you talking? What sort of positions?
Just I just worry about the patience with the manager. I think they need to be patient. I said it about Arteta. I think with Potter, they've got the right man, but have they got the patience? And Nkunku's not coming till the summer.
Yeah.
They might not get the players they need till the summer as well.
What do you think about Potter? I mean, we've been singing Graham Potter's praises for years on this show. Brilliant coach. The fit with Chelsea. What are your thoughts?
I think it's brilliant. I think he is the man to take them forward, like long term. Though Chelsea are notorious at firing managers after 1-2 years.
Different.
They need
management
Potter.
Structure behind them though. Classically, they were more trigger happy in the Abramovich days.
But they also did Chelsea did basically take the whole backroom staff at Brighton. So I feel like they are doing this for the future. They need him for a long term.
Yeah.
It's the fans, though. I speak to some Chelsea fans and they ain't sure.
I agree.
And that's when the fans, I mean, none of us are Chelsea fans. We're going, good appointment, give him time. And some Chelsea fans are going, no, I don't like, I want Tuchel back,
I think you just got to look at what he did at Brighton. And not only now, but since he left, Brighton has still maintained their level.
Yeah, he did amazing.
You just have to look at that and trust it and trust the process of Chelsea.
I've got to say as well, I like the way Mark, before coming to the show, he spoke to Spurs fans, Chelsea fans. He got his prepping, didn't he? I love it.
That's what happens, that's football. All right, let's move on to our final one then, and this is about the bottom of the table, so we can have a look at that right now because it is very close down here. I mean, there's 9 points separating 11th and 20th, and Wolves are currently bottom of the league, although they have appointed a new head coach. Of course, Julian Lopetegui coming through the door, a huge name for a team at the bottom of the Premier League, you'd have to say. So the true or false of this one is Lopetegui will keep Wolves in the Premier League this season. True or false? Wow, you both think they're going down?
I think you've gone.
It is weird. Like I look, like an Everton or like a West Ham, you think, they're too big to go down. I look at Wolves and I think, you've been in the Premier League for too long. You're too big to go down. But actually, they are a Championship club, so to speak. I remember, there's no disrespect to Wolves, early 2000s.
Sounds disrespectful.
But notorious. They've always been in the Championship. It's because the last 10 years, or whatever, they've been in the Premier League. You think, a Premier League club, but they aren't too big to go down. Does that make sense?
That squad, though, would be one of the best that's ever gone down.
Yeah, I agree.
Neves and Nunes and
it would be a shock to see them go down, but I just think it's just not working at the moment.
It's so competitive down there as well, isn't
not
it?
Scoring
Wouldn't you
enough
say
goals,
7 points separate
They've just bought
the
a £50
bottom
million
7.
striker in, though, haven't they? Mateus Cunha.
Yeah.
It's where they could easily cruise out, but it's where you are at the moment.
I mean, the calibre of appointment, though, for a team that are bottom of the table and Lopetegui coming in.
If you look at the individual, they have a good squad. But so why isn't it working?
They're not scoring enough goals, are they?
Yeah.
They have bought in a £50 million striker in Mateus Cunha in January, so I mean, they are actively looking to change that.
The reason I said they're going to go down is because I looked at who's down there and I couldn't pick 3 teams that were going to go down that weren't Wolves.
Yeah.
So they could easily stay up, and it could be Everton who go down. But because they're at the bottom at the moment, I'm going to say Wolves down.
That was our next question, wasn't it? Who are your 3 that you think will go down?
I've got Bournemouth, I think they're vulnerable. Wolves, and then you're really, I'm just going to say Forest. It could be a completely different three, but I'm going to go Forest, Bournemouth, and Wolves.
So tight.
I'd get again. It's like trying to pick fourth place.
Yeah,
There's
tough.
so many teams that are just. But if I had to pick three, I'd say Forest. I'd say Wolves, and it's a toss-up for me between Leeds or Southampton.